You didn't land here by accident. This moment was written for you. There's a reason your spirit pulled you in, a reason your heart started racing the moment you read the first line. You've been walking through fire with grace, fighting battles behind closed doors with no recognition, no applause, just pure endurance. And guess what? Heaven noticed. This isn't just a video. This is divine alignment, a spiritual mirror showing you the power you didn't know others could feel. While the world sees your smile, only you and the Most High know the storms you've survived just to stand. And that's why you're here. Because now, it's time for revelation, time for confirmation, time to step into the season that was always yours. This message is sacred ground, the ones who stay. You're not just watching, you're activating. You're claiming what your spirit has already known. You were built for this. This isn't for the crowd. This is for the called. So take a deep breath, drop your doubts, and get ready. Because everything is about to make sense. Let's go deeper. Let's unlock what's been waiting for you. They see your poise and assume you're untouched by the fire. They praise your composure and think you're untouched by pain. But beneath that grounded exterior is a soul that has held storms in silence. There are hours when the world sleeps and your spirit sits awake, navigating shadows alone, fighting battles that never leave scars the eye can trace. And still, you rise like nothing ever tried to take you down. You've mastered the art of enduring quietly. Behind every nod of encouragement, there's a story you've never spoken. That kind of resilience doesn't come from ease. It comes from being shaped in silence, through seasons where comfort was absent and your strength had to be forged in solitude. This life didn't ask you to fit in. It asked you to be unshakable. While others sought safety, you were learning how to walk with pressure on your shoulders and clarity in your eyes. The heaviness you carry wasn't chosen. It was handed to you because something within could hold what others would crumble beneath. You were developed in the chaos, not for destruction, but for purpose. You learned how to protect your peace without proving your pain. You became fluent in holding space for others while running on an empty cup. And yet, you poured anyway. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. You've given light in your dimmest hours. You've spoken hope while silence echoed inside you. That is not a sign of weakness. That is sacred strength. Few will ever understand what it means to walk through invisible fire and still emerge with kindness in your words. But the unseen realm sees. The higher force that assigned you this path has never looked away. When your voice trembled, but you still spoke truth. When you stood tall while your heart felt hollow, that was your soul expanding. Every lonely chapter was not a punishment. It was preparation. You were being taught to hear what can't be said, to feel what can't be seen. While the world measured worth by noise, you were being equipped in quiet. Not everyone will notice the weight you've carried. Not everyone needs to. The divine does. You were not called to survive just to tell the tale. You were called to shift atmospheres, to move like light through the dark, unannounced but undeniable. The very pain that tried to dim you only refined your clarity. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. You are not the same as you were. You've outgrown the roles that asked you to shrink. You've earned a depth that cannot be faked. And now, everything within you is being summoned forward, not to explain your strength, but to embody it. The crown you carry is invisible, but its gravity is real. There's power in your stillness. There's sacred fire in your calm. And when the world sees only grace in your face, remember, grace is not the absence of struggle. It's proof you conquered it. Keep walking. The ones who walk with unseen armor are never ordinary. You're being shaped for something timeless. And soon, the world will see the weight behind your quiet rise. You've been feeling the weight grow heavier without a clear reason. The tension lingers longer, the resistance comes faster, and the opposition? It's starting to hit in places that feel more personal than ever before. That's not weakness showing. That's evidence of who you are. The pressure is not here to crush you. It's here because of the power you carry. Your reflection might not reveal the magnitude of your mission, but the unseen realms already know. You've been on their radar long before you even knew your strength. Forces that operate beyond the natural world have recognized what's buried within you. A frequency that disrupts darkness, a purpose sharp enough to slice through deception, a presence that shifts atmospheres before you even speak. The battles aren't coming because you're lost. They come because you're locked in. The turbulence is strategic. You carry an imprint, an unseen blueprint, encoded into your very being. Every setback is a sign that something potent is trying to emerge from within you. You are not under attack because you're weak. You're being resisted because your breakthrough threatens to rewrite entire bloodlines. There's power in you that hasn't fully awakened yet, but it's already making noise in places you can't see. That's why the pushback feels so relentless. Your presence disturbs what's been dormant. You awaken what's been hidden, even when others don't understand why they react to you the way they do. The energy doesn't lie. Spirit recognizes spirit. Both light and shadow respond accordingly. What feels like chaos is often just the reaction to clarity coming online. When your alignment starts to sharpen, the opposition scrambles to throw you off track. Confusion, fatigue, doubt, delay. These aren't just mental fog, they're friction. And friction happens right before momentum takes over. Every dream that's felt hijacked, every moment where peace slipped through your fingers, every strange resistance that didn't match the situation, it all ties back to one truth. You are activating. What you carry is disruptive. It doesn't blend in. It breaks patterns. And that means interference will show up, not because you're off course, but because you're finally on it. The ones who make the deepest impact rarely walk easy roads. The harder the resistance, the louder the evidence of what's awakening within you. Your clarity is sharpening. Your spiritual senses are rising, and every hidden attempt to silence you only confirms one thing. You're being seen on levels beyond the physical. The assignment on your life is too critical to go unnoticed. You were never meant to play small. That's why the intensity increased the moment you began to remember who you really are. When you reclaim your power, everything not aligned with it reacts. So let it. Keep moving through it. Keep choosing discipline over despair. Every attack you survive is sharpening your authority. Every trial you navigate in faith is unlocking new levels. The shift happening within you is bigger than you. And the opposition? It's just a shadow fleeing the light it cannot extinguish. You are not ordinary, and your life will never be. That's the cost of carrying the kind of presence that realigns entire frequencies. So when the storm builds, don't retreat, rise. Because what you're here to do is already echoing beyond what can be seen. And that's exactly why the darkness is trembling. They glance your way and assume your lightness comes from a life untouched by weight. They think the calm in your expression means the road has been easy. What they don't realize is that every curve of that smile has been carved by endurance. It's not painted on to please the world. It's pressed into place by every moment you refuse to break. That smile isn't a facade. It's a shield born from fire. You didn't learn joy through comfort. You claimed it in chaos. You held onto it when everything else was begging you to fall apart. That brightness they see. It's not the absence of darkness. It's defiance. It's the soul's declaration that even when the storm rages, your inner sky will hold the sun. What appears effortless is actually sacred. It speaks for you when you don't have the energy to explain the battles you've faced. It's how you keep walking through rooms where you once collapsed. It's how you leave peace behind you like a trail, even after walking through your own wreckage. People think it's just a grin, but it's the proof you didn't stay buried. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. This glow you carry isn't accidental. It's spiritual grit. You've stared down nights that tried to steal your breath, and mornings that tried to mute your hope. And still, you chose presence. Still, you chose light. Each time your lips curved upward, when your heart felt hollow, something divine recorded that moment. Not for praise, but because that's where true strength speaks the loudest. You've learned how to carry beauty through bruises, how to lift others while silently nursing your own wounds. The world doesn't hear the prayers whispered behind your stillness, but the higher realms do. And each time you stand tall when everything in you wants to sink, you release a frequency that only those walking with purpose will understand. Let no one confuse your joy for ignorance. Let no one dismiss your glow as naive. What you radiate has been earned, not inherited. It's the aftermath of inner wars, of confronting shadows and choosing not to become them. You didn't stumble into peace. You built it with bare hands and bloodied knees. There's a reason people feel grounded around you. Your energy speaks safety. Your gaze offers refuge. You carry something rare, the kind of presence that's not loud but unmistakable. You've turned pain into presence. You've transformed pressure into posture. And that smile? It's not decoration. It's a signal to the unseen that you did not surrender. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. So lift your chin without apology. Let your light stretch beyond what others can comprehend. Every time you choose to radiate instead of retreat, you claim more of your power. And with every silent message your smile sends, the unseen watches and nods. Another victory. Another reminder that no matter what tried to silence you, you stayed lit. There are days when the fatigue reaches beyond muscles and bones, when even silence feels too loud, and existing feels like effort. That weight pressing on your spirit isn't just the byproduct of a busy life. It's the residue of unseen battles, of energies absorbed without warning, of carrying loads that others never knew existed. This isn't ordinary tiredness. It's a sacred signal echoing from the depth of your soul. What you're feeling isn't weakness. It's where from waging wars no one applauded. You've stood in emotional crossfires, absorbed unspoken tension in rooms, been the grounding force for others, while your own stability wavered silently. You've offered light in dark corners and poured love into people who didn't realize you were running on fumes. That takes a kind of strength most won't ever understand. You are not exhausted because you're doing too little. You're depleted because you've been carrying too much, often for too long. The world sees your calm, but doesn't feel the toll. And yet, you keep showing up, not because you're superhuman, but because your spirit refuses to quit. But even endurance has a voice, and today it's whispering, pause. This moment of heaviness isn't failure, it's divine feedback. It's a redirection, not a rebuke. You were never meant to sustain your soul on willpower alone. You were created to move in rhythm with grace, not grind against it. There is no shame in needing to step back. You're not retreating, you're recalibrating. Not giving up, realigning. In the quiet, there's wisdom. In stillness, there's recovery. What the world calls unproductive, heaven may call sacred. Rest isn't the opposite of movement. It's part of it. Even fire needs air to breathe again. Even warriors need stillness to sharpen their clarity. You've been doing enough. Now, it's time to be enough. Without doing. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to unplug, to disappear into peace, to create distance between yourself and anything that drains your frequency. You are not built to carry everyone. You're designed to carry truth. And that truth starts with acknowledging your own limits. This fatigue is not the end. It's the doorway to something deeper. You're not collapsing. You're being softened, stripped down, not to be broken, but to be rebuilt with intention. What's coming will ask more of you. And for that, you must refill, refuel, recenter. So rest without guilt. Let your mind empty. Let your heart exhale. Go where you're restored, not required. What feels like a pause is actually preparation. The next stage will need all of you, whole and aligned. And you can't lead others to the light if you're drowning in your own dimness. There is divine strategy in slowing down. Lay down the invisible burdens tonight. Not in surrender to the struggle, but in surrender to the sacred. Let what's unseen hold what's too heavy. You weren't made to carry the sky. You were made to trust the hands that shaped it. Let them carry you now. There's something about your energy that unsettles the atmosphere before you even speak. You walk into a space and the air tightens, not because of what you do, but because of what you don't. You don't engage in the noise. You don't chase attention. You don't collapse into chaos. And in a world fueled by frenzy, that kind of stillness speaks louder than any shout. What you carry doesn't need explanation. It radiates. While others look for control through loudness, your calm rattles the walls of insecurity. You don't provoke through confrontation. Your presence alone challenges whatever is unsteady in others. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because your alignment reveals their imbalance. That's not tension you're imagining. It's reaction. Some will call you distant, aloof, unreadable. But what they fail to understand is that your restraint is not absence, it's wisdom. Your pause is not hesitation, it's protection. Your silence is not weakness, it's focus. You weren't shaped in ease. You were carved in silence, polished through solitude, built to operate from clarity, not chaos. You don't draw peace from shallow sources. Yours was earned in moments where everything could have collapsed, but didn't. You've cultivated a center that doesn't sway with opinion or mood, and that kind of internal stillness is rare, even threatening, to those who've only known movement as survival. Your strength doesn't erupt, it anchors. And because of that, people feel both drawn and disoriented by you. You reflect back to them the unrest they've never acknowledged. You hold steady in storms they still invite. You stand firm in rooms where everything else seeks distraction. That is not something you learned. That is something your soul remembered. You've left circles quietly. You've detached from dynamics without explanation. Not because you didn't care, but because your discernment told you the cost of staying was your peace. And you know now that peace is too expensive to trade. You've walked away, not to escape, but to preserve what was never meant to be squandered. You weren't meant to match noise, you were meant to shift it. Your clarity convicts confusion. Your ease disrupts dysfunction. Your presence holds weight, not because of words, but because of alignment. And no, not everyone can hold that without reaction. The distance you feel from some people isn't rejection, it's energetic filtration. Those who resonate with your spirit will find ease in your quiet. Those who still live in internal disarray may call you too much or too little, but what they really mean is you're different. That difference is sacred. Protect it. You're not here to make others comfortable. You're here to walk with authority, to remind people of stillness in a world that runs from it. Your energy was never created to blend in. It was designed to interrupt what isn't rooted. So move forward, unshaken. Don't explain your peace. Let it speak for itself. Those meant to understand it will never need convincing. And those who don't, they were never meant to carry your frequency anyway. Let your stillness do the speaking. It already says everything. While many lean on what they can see, count on who claps for them, and rely on voices in their corner, your journey has been marked by something much deeper, reinforced in realms beyond the physical. You haven't walked this path alone, even when it looked like you did. Your strength hasn't been rooted in crowds, it's been fueled by the unseen. There were moments no one noticed, no hands reached out, no recognition came. But even then, the air around you was charged with presence. Forces not born of flesh moved on your behalf. Quiet, unwavering, unseen guardians stationed in places you couldn't reach. While others looked for validation in applause, your victories came wrapped in silence and mystery. This isn't just a comforting thought, it's a spiritual reality. You've been fortified, not with ordinary protection, but with divine architecture around your life. The pressure you've endured, the pain you've carried, the isolation you've survived, none of it has been random. You've been targeted, yes, but you've also been protected, surrounded by power that doesn't need credit to operate. The struggles you face aren't isolated events. They are echoes of a much larger mission unfolding through you. You are undoing patterns embedded long before your arrival. You're shifting the trajectory of those who came before and creating new alignment for those who will follow. Your endurance is rewriting timelines and altering spiritual DNA. You carry more than personal growth. You carry generational repair. Every challenge you've confronted has been part of a larger unveiling. You weren't just meant to survive it. You were chosen to shift the atmosphere around it. You weren't assigned easy roads because your purpose required pressure to activate. And heaven knew what it was doing when it entrusted you with that responsibility. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You are made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. When it felt like no one understood, when the silence from others cut deep, you weren't abandoned. You were surrounded, realigned, reinforced, not with noise, but with clarity. not with crowds, but with covenant. You've walked paths that required a strength few ever tap into. And that strength was never meant to come solely from you. It came through you. You're built differently because your calling carries a different weight. And that's why the support surrounding you can't always be seen. It wasn't meant to be. You're walking in a kind of favor that doesn't need visibility to validate its reality. Keep your ground. The resistance was never bigger than your backing. The trials were never stronger than the source behind you. Your presence here, still standing, still rising, is not just a victory. It's a visible reminder that the unseen forces guiding your steps are undefeated. You are not simply enduring, you are being positioned. What's ahead won't require you to fight alone. You've already proven you can stand through the unknown. Now watch how the divine clears the way. Your life is not random. It is covered, it is called, and it is destined to leave a mark that stretches far beyond this moment. There's a reason your spirit refuses to fold, even when the weight gets heavy and the path turns quiet. Deep within you, there's a knowing, an undeniable pull that victory is not some distant dream. It's already unfolding, moment by moment, decision by decision, in ways the outside world can't always see. Your progress may not shout, but it speaks loud in the realm where outcomes are forged before they manifest. You've endured trials that would have silenced most, yet you kept moving, even when your hands trembled and your heart questioned. That persistence was never weakness. It was prophecy in motion. Every time you chose peace over panic, trust over fear, movement over stagnation, you were building momentum that no force could undo. Not all victories make noise. Some unfold in shadows, where only the spirit can bear witness. You were never meant to collapse under pressure. You were designed to break ceilings, not under strain, but through it. What you've walked through wasn't random. The unseen resistance was simply a response to your unstoppable emergence. And now, the shift has already begun. The tides have turned, not because you demanded it, but because your faith moved what force never could. Your journey wasn't meant to be celebrated prematurely because its weight demanded preparation. The silence you endured was a sign that something significant was being formed. What felt like delay was divine architecture. What looked like loss was hidden investment. And now, that quiet, consistent alignment is bearing fruit. This elevation is not just a reward, it's a revelation. It's the unveiling of the strength you cultivated when nobody noticed. What was done behind closed doors will now echo through generations. The battles you faced weren't just yours. They were part of a spiritual lineage being rewritten. And you are the vessel for that restoration. This moment is not random. The release has been scheduled, and not for your ego, but for the greater unfolding of destiny. What's been pressing against you is now pushing you into purpose. You are stepping into a reality where your alignment will speak louder than your explanations, where what once drained you now fuels you. You don't need signs to know the shift has arrived. You are the sign. You carry the evidence of what perseverance looks like in its purest form. Your rise isn't owed, it's earned, and it's been paid for in tears, silence, surrender, and obedience. This chapter isn't a comeback, it's a coronation. What was once buried beneath disappointment is now becoming the foundation for overflow. The very things meant to hinder you are becoming highways to greater purpose. And what was whispered in prayer will now be spoken in testimony. So move forward boldly, not waiting for the world to confirm what heaven already settled. This isn't a matter of if, it's already done. Your alignment is complete. Your moment is now. You're not hoping to win. You've already won. And the proof is not just in the outcome. It's in who you've become.